Hey guys, we are talking about GHD sit-ups today. Commonly in GHD sit-ups, we can have some low back pain, especially at the end range, and that's usually going to present as sacroiliac pain just above the pelvis or into the lumbar spine. I wanted to show you the mechanism behind that and what you can do to prevent it. So we've got this main quad muscle, and this has to be active before you move the lumbar spine. This is called your rectus femoris or your rec fem. And as you can see, as it contracts, the knee straightens. So this motion right here, knee extension, needs to happen and stay constant during the entire range. And as you can see, these fibers contracting are attaching right here at the bottom of the pelvis. That is going to stabilize the pelvis so your lumbar spine can move without overextending the lumbar spine. I will show you what that motion looks like. So this is your psoas or your proximal hip flexor. And this guy, as you can see, is attached right to the front of the lumbar spine. Show you what a GHD sit-up will look like. Flexion of the trunk here, driven by that's your six-pack muscle or your rectus abdominis. And if this motion happens without actively straightening that leg, basically these segments of your lumbar spine are going to be translating forward and overextending your lumbar spine before you do your setup. That is going to cause these facet joints of your lumbar spine to be overextended, and that is where your pain is coming from. So if that made zero sense to some of you, don't worry, because I'm going to be demoing this on a GHD machine.
Hey guys, we're talking about GHD sit-ups today. If you hit the bottom of your GHD sit-up and experience low back pain, this video is for you. So what is happening there is we're hitting the bottom of our range. We're not actively straightening the leg. That is causing the lumbar spine to overextend and then causing those joints to run into each other, causing your pain. So a basic motor control fix is what we need to do. I'm going to give you 3 progressions. The last progression is going to be the full range of motion, and we're just going to cut that range, making sure our knees are straight the whole time. Variation number 1, starting from the top, we're going to load the legs straight, big breath in, brace the core. Down and up, we're doing a half rep. Next is going to be a 3/4 rep. Straighten the legs, brace the core, big breath in. If that feels good, if that feels pain-free, we can move to the full range of motion. It's okay when we do the full range of motion for that leg to come off tension on the way down, but before we sit up, before we flex that lumbar spine, we want active knee extension for the whole time. Set up, lower down, knees can come off tension as I reach the floor, and then before I sit up, straighten the legs. Legs are straight the whole time on the way up. So we talked about anatomy, we talked about the 3 variations for the GHD sit-up. Now let's put that into practice over a 3-week period. So let's say we do variation 1, that's pain-free. Move on to variation 2, that's going to be your 3/4 rep. If you're experiencing low back pain in that variation, we're going to scale up, making sure that we're working on that fundamental half rep of variation 1. So if I'm experiencing pain here for 1 week, I'm going to be doing variation 1, that half rep, focusing on bracing the core, focusing on actively straightening that leg throughout the entire range. For 1 week we're doing that, and then we'll move on to variation 2. If that goes good, 1 week pain-free, we're going to move on to variation 3, which is the full rep. Let me know if you have any questions.